Have you ever wondered what truly causes our suffering? Why do some people, despite having everything, wealth, fame, and success, still feel an unbearable emptiness, while others, living a simple life, seem to radiate joy and contentment? Are we truly living for ourselves, or are we unknowingly trapped in the expectations and judgments of others? These 8 profound lessons will take you on a journey of self-discovery, helping you uncover the hidden truths about life, purpose, and fulfillment. From embracing the inevitability of death to breaking free from ignorance, from letting go of unnecessary desires to recognizing the silent power of self-reflection, each part is crafted to inspire deep thought, stir your emotions, and guide you toward meaningful change. Through powerful stories, timeless Stoic wisdom, and practical advice, these lessons will challenge the way you think about yourself and the world around you. Stay until the very end, because the answers you've been searching for might just be waiting here, ready to transform your life forever. 1. How to operate yourself. In the chaos of modern life, where every moment feels like a race against time, the ability to govern yourself is a rare and profound strength. True control over your emotions, your reactions, and your habits is not something that comes from external validation or fleeting successes. It is cultivated within, in the silent moments where you choose reflection over reaction and understanding over impulse. Consider this: how often do we let small, seemingly insignificant moments dictate the course of our day? A harsh word from a colleague, a traffic jam, or even a notification on your phone can send you spiraling into frustration or anxiety. These are not monumental events, yet they hold immense power over us because we allow them to. The Stoics, who mastered the art of inner discipline, teach us that the key to freedom lies in how we respond, not in what happens to us. As Epictetus wisely said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Let's take a simple but profound example. The next time you feel anger rising, whether it's from a disagreement with a loved one or a mistake at work, pause. Don't speak, don't act, just breathe. In that silent pause, you reclaim control. Neuroscience calls this the cognitive pause, a brief moment where you separate stimulus from response. It's in this space that you can choose to act with intention rather than reflex. This is where true power resides, not in controlling others, but in mastering yourself. Start your day with stillness. Before reaching for your phone or diving into the demands of the world, take 2 minutes to simply sit. Feel your breath, the weight of your body, and the quiet hum of life within you. This practice may seem trivial, but it trains your mind to generate a state of calm rather than being swept away by external chaos. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor who ruled one of the most powerful empires in history, wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The truth is, we were never taught how to operate the intricate masterpiece that is the human mind and body. Instead, we were taught to consumato, reach for coffee when we're tired, to scroll through social media when we're bored, or to binge a show when we're stressed. These are reflexes, not needs. They are distractions, not solutions. The human body is capable of generating joy, peace, and connection entirely on its own. Dopamine, the chemical of motivation, serotonin, the molecule of calm, and oxytocin, the hormone of love, these are all within your grasp, waiting to be activated by how you choose to live. But here's the challenge. Modern life conditions us to seek joy and peace outside ourselves. We chase promotions, relationships, and possessions, believing they will fill the void within. Yet, as countless people have discovered, no amount of external success can compensate for a restless inner world. The Stoics understood this deeply. They believed that joy is not found in things, but in how you perceive and respond to life. As Seneca wrote, "A man is as unhappy as he has convinced himself he is." The next time life feels overwhelming, ask yourself, am I steering my emotions, or are they steering me? This question alone can shift your perspective. It reminds you that you hold the wheel, even when the road feels rough. Start small. Pause before reacting. Begin your mornings in silence. Choose deliberate action over mindless distraction. These small shifts, practiced consistently, will transform how you experience life. The world may remain chaotic, but your inner world doesn't have to be. True control is not about changing the external, it's about mastering the internal. And once you learn to operate yourself, you'll find that joy and peace are not distant destinations. They are states you can create right here, right now, from within. 2. The nature of life. Life is fleeting, a delicate thread spun from moments that vanish as quickly as they arrive. Time, the most precious resource we possess, is finite. It slips through our fingers like grains of sand, indifferent to how we spend it. Yet, there is something even more profound than time: energy. While time cannot be reclaimed, energy can be renewed, restored, and redirected. Understanding this truth changes everything. It shifts the focus from trying to control the uncontrollable to mastering the one thing you can influence: how you live each moment. Think of a day in your own life. You might have had hours of free time, yet your mind was foggy, your body sluggish, and all you could do was scroll through your phone or stare blankly at a screen. On another day, with only a fraction of the time available, you may have accomplished more than you thought possible, feeling alive, focused, and energized. The difference wasn't in the amount of time, it was in your energy. This is the essence of living deeply. Not add hours to your day, but learning how to fully inhabit the ones you already have. The Stoics understood this well. They taught that life is not about how much you do, but how well you do it. It is not that we have a short time to live, Seneca wrote, but that we waste much of it. Life is long enough if you know how to use it. The key lies in managing your energy through intentional actions that align your body, Michigan, ND, and spirit. Start with the basics. Treat sleep as sacred. It is not a luxury. It is the foundation of renewal. A well-rested mind is sharper, California Lerma, and more resilient. Next, embrace cycle of motivation. Just 10 minutes of sunlight in the morning can transform the way your body and mind function throughout the day. Movement, too, is essential. You don't need an intense workout to feel the benefits. A brisk walk, a stretch, or even standing up to breathe deeply can awaken your body and center your mind. These small acts may seem insignificant, but they are profound. They remind you that energy is not something you wait for, it is something you create. But energy is not just physical, it is emotional and mental as well. The silent thief of your energy is distraction. Every notification, every meaningless argument, every moment spent comparing your life to others drains you. The Stoics warned against this centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Being present in each moment is the antidote. When you focus fully on the task at hand, whether it's working, spending time with loved ones, or simply enjoying a cup of coffee, you transform that moment into something meaningful. Presence reduces stress, enhances clarity, and allows you to achieve more with less effort. It's not about rushing to do everything. It's about doing the right things with intention and care. Ask yourself, if today were your last, would you be proud of how you spent your energy? It's not about cramming more into your schedule. When you manage your energy wisely, life feels fuller, not because you've done more, but because you've lived more deeply. Time may be finite, but the depth of your moments is infinite. 3. Understanding aspiration. In a world that glorifies achievement, it's easy to spend your life chasing goals that, in the end, leave you feeling strangely empty. The pursuit of money, fame, or success often becomes a treadmill. No matter how fast you run, the destination always seems just out of reach. But the deeper question isn't whether you're achieving enough. It's whether you're chasing what truly matters. Are your ambitions aligned with your core values, or are they distractions pulling you further away from yourself? Consider the story of a man who spent his entire life climbing the corporate ladder. By the time he reached the top, he had the corner office, the six-figure salary, and the admiration of his peers. But in the quiet hours, when the noise of the world faded, he felt hollow. He had achieved everything society told him to strive for, yet he couldn't shake the feeling that something was missing. His success was real, but it wasn't fulfilling. Why? Because he never stopped to ask himself, why do I want this? This is where Stoicism offers a profound lesson. The Stoics understood that ambition, when untethered from purpose, becomes a form of slavery. You're no longer living for yourself. You're living for an illusion. Seneca warned against this when he said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." True wealth, he argued, comes not from acquiring more, but from wanting less and wanting the right things. To understand your aspirations, you must first confront your desires. Ask yourself, what am I really seeking? Is it recognition, security, a sense of worth? Often, the goals we chase are not ends in themselves, but means to fulfill deeper, unspoken needs. For example, someone who relentlessly pursues wealth might not be greedy. They might simply crave the stability they never had in childhood. Someone obsessed with fame might not be vain, they might be seeking validation they never received. When you dig beneath the surface, you uncover the truth of your desires. And only then can you decide whether those desires are worth pursuing. The process begins with reflection. Take a moment of silence each day to examine your goals. Write them down and then ask yourself, if I achieved this, would it truly make me happy? Be brutally honest. If the answer is no, if the happiness feels fleeting, it's time to recalibrate. Align your ambitions with your values, not with societal expectations. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's most powerful men, reminded himself daily, do what is right, not what is easy, not what is popular. Practical steps can help you realign. Start by identifying your core values: honesty, Colorado passion, creativity, or whatever resonates with you. Then, evaluate whether your current goals reflect those values. If they don't, adjust them. For example, if family is your priority, but work consumes all your time, consider rebalancing. If creativity fuels you, but you're stuck in a job that stifles it, explore ways to reignite that spark. The goal isn't to abandon ambition, but to ensure it serves you, not the other way around. The modern world often confuses business with purpose. But busyness without direction is like running. In circles it tires you out but takes you nowhere. True aspiration is quiet, Delaware liberate, and deeply personal. It doesn't shoot for attention. It works silently in the background, guiding your choices and giving your life meaning. When your ambitions align with your values, you're no longer chasing illusions. You're building a life that feels right, not just looks right. So, Pennsylvania, USA. Reflect and ask yourself, am I climbing the right ladder, or am I chasing someone else's dream? The answer may surprise you, but it will also set you free. 4. The illusion of living. In the modern age, life has become a performance. We live not for ourselves, but for the gaze of others, crafting curated images and chasing approval in the silent glow of screens, social media feeds, societal expectations, and the relentless pressure to keep up have created an illusion of living, a shadow of what life is meant to be. We are busy, distracted, and constantly moving, yet we rarely pause to ask, am I truly living, or am I merely existing? Consider the person who spends hours scrolling through their phone, consuming endless snapshots of other people's lives. A friend's vacation, a colleague's promotion, a stranger's perfect family dinner. The comparisons begin to creep in, quietly eroding their sense of self-worth. They feel compelled to post their own highlights, carefully editing their reality to match the expectations of an invisible audience. Yet, when the likes and comments fade, what remains? The emptiness of a life lived for others, not for oneself. This is the illusion of living. Being occupied but not present, surrounded by noise, but devoid of meaning. The Stoics warned against this trap centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." These words are a reminder that life is fleeting, and to waste it on superficial pursuits is to squander its most precious gift. True living is not found in the validation of others, but in the quiet, profound moments that connect us to ourselves and the world around us. Think about the last time you truly felt alive. Perhaps it was a walk in nature, where the rustling leaves and the warmth of the sun brought a sense of peace. Or maybe it was a conversation with a loved one, where time seemed to stand still, and you felt deeply understood. These moments are not grand or flashy, they are simple, yet they carry the weight of meaning. They remind us that life's richness is found in stillness, awareness, and the appreciation of small, meaningful experiences. Modern life, however, pulls us away from these moments. The constant buzz of notifications, the pressure to achieve, and the endless stream of distractions rob us of the ability to be present. We are so busy chasing what we think we need: success, recognition, possessions, that we lose sight of what we already have. As Henry David Thoreau once said, "The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation." This desperation stems from living in the illusion, disconnected from what truly matters. Breaking free from this illusion requires intentionality. Start by creating space for stillness in your daily life. Put your phone down during meals. Step outside and feel the wind on your face. Take a moment to breathe deeply and simply exist. These small acts of awareness reconnect you to the present, grounding you in the reality of life rather than its illusion. True life is not measured by the number of followers you have, the size of your house, or the titles on your resume. It is measured by the depth of your experiences, the authenticity of your relationships, and the peace you feel when you are alone with your thoughts. It is found in the silent moments where you are no longer performing but simply being. So, ask yourself, am I truly living, or am I caught in the illusion of living? The answer lies not in what others see, but in what you feel when the world is still and you are left with nothing but your own presence. Life's beauty is not in its noise, but in its silence. Seek that silence, and you will find what it means to truly live. 5. Suffering is ego. Suffering, for most of us, feels like an unavoidable part of life. A harsh word from a loved one, a missed opportunity, or an unexpected failure can leave us spiraling into frustration, sadness, or even despair. But here's the truth. Most suffering doesn't come from the events themselves. It comes from how we interpret them. It's not the world that wounds us, but the ego within us that amplifies pain, turning small setbacks into towering catastrophes. Think about the last time you were hurt. Perhaps a friend forgot to invite you to an important event, and you felt rejected. The reality of the situation was simple. A decision was made, and life moved on. But in your mind, the narrative grew louder. Why didn't they think of me? Don't I matter to them? These thoughts, fueled by ego, Massachusetts Guineafied the pain. Instead of observing the situation for what it was, the ego demanded validation, creating unnecessary suffering. The Stoics understood this human tendency well. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The ego thrives on reaction, taking things personally, on clinging to pride, and on resisting reality. It convinces us that life should go exactly as we expect, and when it doesn't, we feel wronged. But life isn't personal. It's indifferent, unfolding as it will, regardless of our preferences. The suffering comes not from life itself, but from our refusal to accept it. Consider a practical example. A celebrity, admired by millions, might crumble under the weight of a single criticism. Meanwhile, a janitor, unnoticed by the world, may find joy in the quiet rhythm of their work. The difference lies not in their circumstances, but in their relationship with the ego. The celebrity, entangled in the need for approval, suffers when it's denied. The janitor, free from such demands, finds peace in the silent simplicity of their day. The key to overcoming this ego-driven suffering lies in pausing and observing your thoughts. When something painful happens, resist the urge to react immediately. Instead, take a step back and ask yourself, what am I adding to this situation? Am I making it bigger than it is? In that moment of reflection, you create space between reality and your ego's interpretation of it. This space is where freedom begins. For example, if someone insults you, your ego might urge you to retaliate, to defend your pride. But if you pause and observe, you may realize that their words say more about them than about you. By detaching from the need to protect your ego, you save yourself from unnecessary conflict and suffering. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Living in harmony with reality means letting go of the ego's demands. It means accepting that life will not always cater to your desires, and that's okay. The rain will fall when you want sunshine. People will leave when you want them to stay. Plans will fail despite your best efforts. But none of this has to break you. By releasing the ego's grip, you can meet life as it is with grace, resilience, and peace. Suffering, at its core, is a teacher. It reveals where the ego has taken hold and invites you to let go. The next time you feel pain, pause, observe, and remember, the world isn't against you, it's just being itself. Your power lies in how you choose to respond. Free from ego, you can live not in resistance, but in harmony, finding strength and serenity in even the most difficult moments. 6. Death teaches best. Death is the silent teacher. We often try to ignore, yet its lessons are among the most profound. The inevitability of death is not a distant specter meant to frighten. Use it as a reminder of life's fragility and brevity. It strips away the trivial, exposing what truly matters. When we accept that our time is finite, we are no longer tempted to waste it. Instead, we are inspired to live fully, to love deeply, and to act with intention. Consider how often we postpone the things that matter most. We tell ourselves there will be later time to mend a broken relationship, to pursue a dream, to say the words we've been holding back. But later is a fragile promise, one that life does not guarantee. Death reminds us that the clock is always ticking. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, urged, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." These words are not morbid, they are liberating. They remind us to stop waiting and start living. Think of the stories we hear about people who have faced death and emerged changed. A man survives a heart attack and suddenly begins to cherish the mornings he once rushed through. A woman loses a loved one and realizes how much time she wasted holding grudges. These are not rare stories, they are universal truths. Death forces clarity. It strips away distractions and reveals what we often fail to see, that life's value lies in the present moment, not in some distant future we may never reach. In daily life, we are often consumed by the unimportant. We argue over petty matters, chase material possessions, and lose ourselves in the noise of the world. But death teaches us that much of this is meaningless. The car you drive, the titles you hold, the opinions others have of you, none of it will matter in the end. What will matter are the silent moments of connection, the laughter shared with friends, the kindness shown to a stranger, the love given without expectation. These are the things that endure even as life itself fades. To live with death in mind is not to live in fear, but to live with purpose. It means asking yourself daily, if today were my last, would I be proud of how I spent it? This question is not meant to haunt you, but to guide you. It encourages you to prioritize what truly matters, your relationships, your passions, your growth. It reminds you to stop postponing joy and to embrace the beauty of the present. Practical actions can help anchor this mindset. Start small. Call a loved one you've been meaning to reconnect with. Take a walk and notice the world around you. The sunlight filters through the trees, the sound of the wind, the feeling of being alive. Reflect on what you want your legacy to be, not in terms of achievements, but in terms of impact. As the poet Mary Oliver asked, "What is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?" Death is not an enemy, it is a teacher. It reminds us that life is not infinite, but its meaning can be. By accepting death, we learn to live not in haste, but with clarity and intention. We stop waiting for the perfect moment and start creating it. In the silent truth of our mortality, we find the courage to live fully, to love deeply, and to leave behind a life that truly mattered. Let death teach you, and you will discover how to truly live. 7. If you had everything, then what? What would happen if you had it all, the wealth, the fame, the admiration of others? Would you finally feel whole, or would you still sense that quiet emptiness lingering in the background? This is the paradox of human desire. The more we acquire, the more we crave. Fulfillment doesn't come from having more. It comes from understanding what is truly enough. Take the story of a famous actor who seemed to have everything: a dazzling career, millions of fans, and a lifestyle most people can only dream of. Yet, in a candid interview, he admitted to feeling deeply unhappy. Despite his success, he felt trapped in a cycle of constantly wanting more roles, more recognition, more validation. His words echoed a universal truth: I had everything, and it still wasn't enough. This isn't an isolated experience. It's a reality that many people face, whether they are celebrities or not. The pursuit of more often blinds us to what we already have. The Stoics understood this well. Seneca once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." True wealth, they believed, isn't measured by the abundance of possessions, but by the ability to be content with less. In a world that constantly pushes us to want bigger houses, faster cars, and shinier titles, this philosophy feels radical. But it's also liberating. When you stop chasing unnecessary desires, you free yourself from the chains of comparison and the endless race for external validation. Think about your own life. How many of your desires are truly your own? And how many have been shaped by society? The pressure to climb the corporate ladder, to own the latest gadgets, or to present a picture-perfect life on social media, these are distractions, not necessities. They pull us further away from peace and closer to exhaustion. The truth is, fulfillment doesn't come from adding more to your life. It comes from letting go of what doesn't serve you. Consider a person who chooses to simplify their life. They downsize their home, declutter their possessions, and focus on what truly matters: relationships, health, and personal growth. At first, the world might see them as giving up, but in reality, they are gaining something far more valuable: freedom. By letting go of the unnecessary, they create space for what brings genuine peace. They learn to appreciate the silent beauty of a sunset, the warmth of a heartfelt conversation, and the satisfaction of a life lived with intention. Practical steps can help you embrace this mindset. Start by asking yourself, what do I truly need to be happy? Write down your answers, and you may find that the list is much shorter than you expected. Next, identify the desires that weigh you down, whether it's material possessions, societal expectations, or the need to please others, and begin to release them one by one. As you simplify your life, you'll discover that what remains is enough. The pursuit of everything is a trap. Even if you could have it all, you'd still be left wondering what's next. But when you focus on what truly matters, you free yourself from that endless cycle. As the philosopher Epicurus said, "Not what we have, but what we enjoy, constitutes our abundance." Fulfillment isn't about having everything. It's about realizing that you already have enough. In that realization, you'll find the peace and freedom you've been searching for all along. 8. Ignorance is the true evil. The greatest threat to a meaningful life is not failure, nor is it loss. It is ignorance of oneself, of one's purpose, and of the silent forces that shape our decisions. To drift through life without questioning who you are or why you do what you do is to live asleep, caught in a fog of unexamined habits and beliefs. This is the true evil, not external misfortune, but the internal blindness that keeps us from truly living. Think of someone who spends their life chasing success as defined by others. They climb the corporate ladder, accumulate wealth, and achieve societal status, yet deep down they feel a persistent emptiness. They are celebrated outwardly, but tormented inwardly, unable to articulate why their achievements feel hollow. This is the tragedy of ignorance, not knowing what you are truly living for. As Socrates famously said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." Without self-inquiry, we risk building our lives on a foundation that was never truly ours to begin with. Ignorance thrives in the silent spaces of our lives, where we avoid asking the difficult questions. Why do I feel unfulfilled despite having everything I thought I wanted? Why do I stay in relationships or jobs that drain me? What am I afraid of letting go? These questions are uncomfortable because they force us to confront the gap between who we are and who we want to be. But ignoring them only leads to a life of quiet dissatisfaction. Take, for example, the story of a woman who worked tirelessly to provide for her family. She sacrificed her passions, her health, and her happiness, believing that her worth was tied to how much she could give to others. Years later, her children grew up and moved away, and she was left with an aching question: who am I without them? Her ignorance of her own needs and desires had stolen years of joy and self-discovery. Yet, through reflection, she began to reclaim her life, rediscovering the passions she had buried beneath years of self-neglect. Self-inquiry is the antidote to ignorance. It requires courage to sit in silence and examine your beliefs, your habits, and your fears. Why do you value what you value? Are your goals truly yours, or have they been inherited from society, family, or peers? Reflection is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher, reminds us, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If we do not take the time to understand those thoughts, we risk letting ignorance dictate the course of our lives. Practical steps can help you break free from this blindness. Start by journaling your thoughts daily, even if they feel messy or incomplete. Reflect on your actions at the end of each day. What brought you joy? What drained you? And why? Seek feedback from those you... Ignorance is not just a lack of knowledge, it is a refusal to look inward. It is living on autopilot, letting life happen to you instead of shaping it with intention. But when you commit to self-inquiry, you begin to uncover the beliefs and habits that no longer serve you. You shed the weight of expectations that are not your own, and you step into a life guided by clarity and purpose. The greatest danger is not external, it is the silent surrender to a life unexamined. But the greatest freedom comes from knowing yourself, that knowledge lies the power to live fully, authentically, and with purpose. As the poet Rumi once wrote, Don't be satisfied with stories how things have gone with others. Unfold your own myth. To live without ignorance is to live with intention, and that is the truest form of freedom. Life is a journey of self-discovery, living true to your values and finding deeper meaning. Every step you take, every choice you make, shapes the person you become. Take time to reflect on what truly matters, let go of unnecessary burdens, and embrace the beauty of intentional living. Remember, growth happens when you step out of your comfort zone and take action toward your dreams. If you want to continue exploring profound lessons, gaining inspiration, and uncovering the keys to a more meaningful life, hit subscribe, share this video to spread the message, and let's build a positive and growth-focused community together. Your journey of transformation's here, and it starts with you. Let's make it count.